The Maple Leafs get set for the return of Mitch Marner to Toronto as they drop another game in overtime. Hey everyone, welcome to Inside the Leafs. Rob Wong, joined alongside by Lance Hornby and Terry Koshan of the Toronto Sun. And guys, it's a big night on Friday as Mitch Marner is making his return to Toronto for the first time since signing with the Vegas Golden Knights. I guess we got a little bit of a taste of what the Leafs fans might be bringing for him when the Leafs played in Vegas last week. But we'll start with you, Terry. What are we expecting the response to be, I guess, from the fans at Scotiabank on Friday night?
Well, I guess, probably some hostility, right? Sour taste for a lot of people in Leaf Nation with the Marner departure and how everything went down. I think the Leafs they're planning a tribute of some sort. I'd imagine it comes in the first period, as these things usually do. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I don't, I would just imagine that it's going to go that way. I think that that's the expectations for a lot of people. And, you know, of the Maple Leafs who were made available last night, all of them were asked about it. It was Lawton, Wall, Carlo, and Benoit. And, a couple of them at least, I think Wall and Lawton kind of had a sense that would be coming. Lawton just said he expects the building to be loud, and he paused before saying loud, and he didn't really elaborate. And then while going out and saying, I really hope the fans pay him some respect. Hockey's a place of respect, so we'll see how it goes. But not only do things not overall go well here at the end for Marner, the fans remember the playoff failures, the contract talks in 2019, the refusal to waive the no trade, which was his absolute right to not do, and I don't know why there would be a big problem with that. But anyway, whatever. Like I said, I just expect that there will be some hostility, but we'll see tomorrow night.
Well, I was on Long Island when John Tavares came back, and that was nothing but vitriol from the fans. And there was pictures of John going around local hospitals, and people were booing that. I know that's very much an Islander thing, but my point is, I think when people see the video, they might have a bit of a little pang of regret, maybe that he's gone, and that may soften what I'm sure, to agree with Terry, is a lot of it's monkey see monkey do with Leaf fans. They were everyone noticed him getting booed in Vegas, and I think a lot of that will carry over, and there is some bitterness certainly. But you know what? I think depending how the Leafs on how the Leafs handle the video, there'll probably be some pictures of an old Marner, and maybe that adorable clip of him on City TV years ago when he said that he wanted to be a Maple Leaf. If they're smart, they'll slide that in there for people. And you know what? People can't help themselves. I think they have a right to be disappointed in what happened. It was a big contract, and the way he sort of made an awkward exit. So I think there will be some hostility, but Toronto fans are going to, also, I think, remember the good times. And I think if the Leafs keep up this, this thing in the next couple of days, just nothing but positive comments, they'll lessen the blow for a little bit. But it'll be interesting. And of course, the interesting thing will be what happens in the game. Does he play well? Does he get shut down? And certainly, at the end of the night, it's more important for the Leafs to win than worry about what happens with Mitch Marner and the fans.
Yeah, and I think, Lance, you actually hit on something there. The fact he got booed in Vegas by Leaf fans last week, I think, is probably a telling sign of what's to come tomorrow. I was surprised by that. I mean, you could hear it on TV, right?
Yeah.
When he touched the puck and stuff, and it's not like the place was full of Leaf fans. There were some there, obviously, but
And those are the real fans, quote unquote. The guys
well, yeah, I guess, but yeah, I just found it interesting, that happened there. So anyway, yeah, but you're right though. The Leafs have to worry about winning a hockey game. That's all there is to it.
Absolutely. Well, it wouldn't be the first time Maple Leafs former player was booed on his return to Toronto, and it seems like that is the expectation here for Mitch Marner, but we'll see what happens prior to the game and during the game is where the focus should be, and as you guys mentioned, the Maple Leafs are hoping to get some revenge here against Vegas after dropping that tough one in Las Vegas last week, and overtime, Lance, for whatever reason, continues to be a bit of an issue for this team now, 7 and 8. We know 3-on-3 overtime. It is, generally a coin flip. It's a difficult style of hockey to consistently be good at. But the Maple Leafs have dropped a lot of points here as they try to climb back into this wild card race. What can you put your finger on as to why maybe this team hasn't been able to pick up as many wins when they get to 3-on-3?
Well, I think they're handling it. I think they're handling it okay. I think what a lot of times they do, if I'm not mistaken, they bring Tavares out to take the draw and then make a quick change along those lines. And when you have Austin Matthews on your team, anything certainly can happen. You have the speed of some other players, but they have missed. I'd have to do the correlation of games when they've been in overtime and Nylander hasn't been there because he's a game breaker certainly in that respect, and they could have used him a couple of times. But to your first point, maybe Terry can back me on this. I think they've got double the overtime losses now than they had all of last year, or it's getting close anyway. So that's a concern. And when you're, maybe last year, it wouldn't have mattered if they'd done this because they were in better standing in the division. This year, every point is so important, and this could really be something that comes back and bites them in the end if they miss out on a point or two at the end. But I see nothing wrong in the way they're they're getting big saves. I just off the top of my head, Matthews has come so close on a couple of wins, and you had Dennis Hildeby's puck fumble in that one game. So they're close. The gods, excuse me. The overtime gods aren't with them right now, and but they're still a little less than half the season to maybe turn that around. They're certainly going to need some better results in what is a very, very close NHL this year.
I'll just go with what Sheldon Keefe used to say: the puck drops in OT and anything can happen. There's no guarantee of a win or loss, and it's so. You don't say disorganized, but there's a lot going on. I pulled up some stats here. Colorado Avalanche, by the best team in the National Hockey League, is 3 overtime wins. They've lost 9 games that have gone beyond regulation. The Oilers are 5-8. The New Jersey Devils, they're at the other end. They're 9-2. So I don't think there's much of a rhyme or reason to it. One big thing, of course, like Lance said, is if you can get possession off that first face-off, that can go a long way. But, last night was a weird one. What were the Leafs outshot 6-0 in overtime, I think?
Yeah. And needed a couple of big Joe Wall saves.
Yeah, and he did his part. And, it's, I don't know, maybe 7 wins in 15 tries isn't so bad. I mean, it's almost 500, and, a lot of teams aren't at that mark. But it's just a crapshoot more than anything else. And like Lance said, not having Nylander doesn't help either, because he's so bloody skilled at this. I mean, we've seen him end games single-handedly once it gets to 3-on-3. But there's nothing that Craig Berube can't, and the coaching staff can't sit down necessarily and say, okay, how do we solve this?
Yeah.
Well, they can chance for randomness involved.
Yeah. Well, they can't practice 3. They don't have practice enough for anything that they need to practice on, let alone 3-on-3.
Exactly. I mean, you have to spend the time on 5-on-5 drills and obviously special teams and, getting to those areas because, probably 7 times out of 10, you're not going to overtime, I would think. So, yeah, anyway, it's just, I don't know that it's a problem or an issue, but I also don't know that there's a quick fix to it. You just drop the puck at each time and hope it comes out the best for you, but it's not always going to happen, as we've seen.
Well, we saw it once already in their first meeting with Vegas, but that's a team that goes to overtime quite a bit. So the betting money could be on this game going to OT on Friday night, but should be quite a scene down at Scotiabank Arena. Lance and Terry will both be there for Mitch Marner's return to Toronto. As always, leave your thoughts in the comments section below for Lance Hornby and Terry Koshan and Rob Wong. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.